Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got quite an interesting one from my point of view, and I think you might find it interesting if you're into bushcraft and things of that nature. I've got the Fire Dragon blocks that are actually kind of like a hard waxy substance inside a plastic container, which you can use to either start a fire as a fire lighter, or it can be used as a solid fuel to cook your food out on the trail. And I've also got the gel, and I'm going to find out what the difference is in burn time, if at all any. This is obviously a lot more liquidy. You can see that and feel that, because quite simply it's got to come out of a container, where this, you just peel back a foil top, drop it into the cooker system, and off you go. So logic is telling me probably one of these may burn a little bit longer than the other, but I may be wrong. Everything in life is an experimentation, so I'm going to find out what's best suited to me. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to be doing the West Highland Way during the winter. My friend is using a Trangia, and that's a proven technology and formula to actually go out on trails like that over a long distance and obviously a period of time. I've not found any information on people using this kind of stuff to any great extent, so I'm going to do a little bit of experimentation. I've got a few months before I get on the trail, so if this does work for me, I shall be taking this. If not, and it doesn't seem like it's going to suit me to do the West Highland Way, I will actually be reverting to a Trangia. But let's give this a go. So I've got a phone with a stopwatch so I can time it. I've got some mess tins and a cup. I'm going to measure out an equal amount of water, and I'm going to do a time to see which one of these burns the longest and possibly hottest to boil a cup of water. You kind of would think they'd be the same, but if I bring this up, you can see it's quite gloopy. We'll open up one of those tabs in a minute, and if memory serves me right, it's a lot harder and more like a waxy substance, almost rubbery to the touch. I've got the cooker system. We'll have a look at that in a minute. I'm going to try lighting it through two different methods. One, the lighter, which is going to be the most common, and obviously a ferro rod. I haven't bothered with matches because, to be honest with you, matches is more of a survival aid these days. And if you've ever used matches in the outdoors, they're quite a skill to master, to be honest with you. Right then, I do have the old hexamine burner there, and I've still got one or two of the cooker frames at home, but you can see it in size comparison between the two. Now, I left the army when I was 50, that's about 4.5 years ago, and we were being issued with these. Now, this frame is possibly from my last exercise. You can still see the remnants of the burnt out Fire Dragon gel in there, but that frame has been in my shed and it's still in good condition. So while we're discussing the two, you do get a windshield with the actual Fire Dragon cooker. It just goes over the side, that pops down like that, and you can adjust your cooker setup like that. This one here, you can adjust it, leave it like that, or you can bring it up, and you do have a top piece which will go on top like this. If I adjust it, this one's all knackered and bent out of shape. They're not as robust. These here are a lot tougher and thicker gauge metal than these old hexamine cookers, but this would go on top like that, and your Crusader mug set could fit in there. Not the plastic, but the metal one. But yeah, or you just put your mess tins straight on top like that. Some of you are probably already thinking, why am I still rocking around the outdoors with these old cook sets from the hexamine days? Quite simply because I use it as a phone stand. There, like that. And that's how I do a lot of my recording outdoors. So if you were in the military, you know, in days gone by, you would have been issued this, and inside would have been a set of white square tablets called hexamine, and they would light, and you know, they would burn even if it was damp and wet and even windy. They would still burn and go. It was sometimes a little bit of a struggle to get them to go, but once they were going, you know, it would take some putting out. And indeed, once you'd finished boiling your water and your MRE, quite often you'd chuck another one on just to warm your hands up. But yeah, these were readily available throughout the military, and they were also available in the civvy world, I believe. There seemed to be plenty kicking about. Cadets would have used them. They were a fantastic item, but there is one issue with them, that they were made of poisonous substances, and the substances themselves, explosives could be derived from it. So hence the British government have now banned them, and it is illegal to own hexamine, and it is covered by a 2-year prison sentence, and on top of that, and a fine as well. So you should not have any of this in your possession. It is illegal, and you would be breaking the law. But the cooker itself is still okay. It's just a metal case, and like I said, I use this to do my video in. But yeah, I think it was October 2023 they were actually you know, certified that they were banned and it was illegal to own. So yeah, hexamine is no more. That is why the military has now moved over to the Fire Dragon cook set and everything, and that's what I was last issued when I was in the military, even though they obviously phased it out well before the government actually banned it. But it's a fantastic item, and I really liked it, but I've only used the blocks, not the gel, and that's why we're here. So there you go. It's odourless when lit, non-toxic, smokeless, safe with food, easy lit even when wet, and sustainable ingredients. So it's everything to like so far, and I presume that would be the same setup on the gel. What does it say? Quick, easy to ignite, non-toxic, lights even when wet, made from sustainable ingredients, reduces cooker time, low odour when burning, safely stored with food, sustainable for extreme conditions. Right then, they've come in 2 blocks of 6 in the pack. And that's what a block looks like, and about the size you can judge by my fingers. I've got an average size hand, and it sits inside the tray like that very neatly. I'll take the windbreak off and you can see, and you would get another 2 either side of that, if you can imagine so, like that. Another one would go there, and the whole thing would close up compact and can be put away in your webbing or day sack to go off and do your exercise, and you'd have enough there to have 3 cook times. You're supposed to get about 8 minutes per block, but that's obviously got to be variable, because I should imagine windy conditions it's going to burn a lot faster. But before we do any burn time tests, I want to see how easy they do ignite. So we'll do an ignition test, see if the ferrule rod can get it going quite easy, and then we'll go on to the lighter. So just peel it back as such, and yes, it is, it's almost like a slippery candle texture, and it just pops out like this, and it feels like, you know, you can see that is not going to just gloop everywhere like the gel. That is almost like a slippery candle substance. So right, I'm going to just cut a little bit off because I don't want the whole thing to go up here. There. I'll put that one away. Right. Let's see if the ferrule rod can get this going. Right. There, it's off. And that's what it does. It's not a clear flame. There is a little bit of orange to it. There's no smoke as such, but the actual block is beginning to melt and bubble away and form that kind of like slag mixture. Now, I did think it took a long time with that ferro rod, but when I looked at the footage, it was actually, it actually caught fire halfway while I'm continually trying to shower it with sparks. And that is how invisible the flame is. So that's always something to note, that it's not the brightest of flames, but it gives off a lot of heat. Same sketch, I'll just cut out a little bit here. There, get that going. Sorry about the road noise. Right. That's gone straight up there. It's burning. It takes a while to start to see any flames, but you can see it just bubbling there. And it starts to go a little bit of an orange colour before it starts to bubble and turn into that kind of slag mixture. Yeah, that with a lighter, with a flame straight on it, it went up instant. There was no messing. And like I say, that flame is almost invisible. You can just see it now it's going. Right, let's put a little bit of Gist gel down here. And we'll... don't want to put hundreds, I don't want a massive burn. There. And this actually feels like actual jelly, but we're going to use the ferro rod again. Same sketch. Let's see how quick this goes up. That's going away straight away, I think. Whoa, that is going straight away quicker. Now that more liquidy gel actually took the sparks from the ferro rod a lot quicker. But it looks a bit of a slower burn. It doesn't look as aggressive. Oh, there is a lot of heat coming off that. And so far it's not producing as much of that white slag type stuff. It's starting to bubble. There you go. I was quite impressed with that actually. About 2 passes with a ferro rod, that went straight up. And I can feel the heat, but I can't see no flames. And you can see it flickering on the aluminium of the actual mess tin. Very impressed with that. Right, let's just put some on here, just for being fair, but it's almost redundant actually. I should imagine the lighter would have this go up straight away. There won't even need to hold the lighter to it. But yeah, in the name of science and fair play, let's have a go. There you go. It's off already. It takes a while for it to really get going, as in you can see anything happening, but the heat is there straight away. There you go. You can just see the heat waving across the aluminium of the can, but there's less of an orange flame to this. It does kick out a lot. I mean, I can feel the heat. I'm sort of like 4 inches off that, and I can't get my hand no closer with just that small little bead of that substance. Very impressed. You can just see the flames in there, and you can see the block melting away. It's going all waxy. Let's see what time we're on at the minute. 1 minute 3. Will I need to add that second cube, or that top mess tin should help with retain a lot of heat in that water. Just got to keep an eye on the time now. Right, that flame's got really intense now. That whole block is melted and you can see it bubbling away, and it's got that white slaggy type material floating on top. There's flames licking out all over the side of the mess tins now. That is quite an aggressive burn there now. It's really going for it. What's that, 4 minutes 18 so far? 6 minutes. I've just started to see bubbles inside when I took the lid off, but it's not boiling yet. Still going for it, but it's looking like it's not too far from being exhausted. Right, it's boiling there now. You can see the bubbles, see the steam, so we'll hit the stop there. That's 8 minutes 15, and that is boiling. See all the steam and that coming off? And I've still got a fair bit there to go. Right, all the residue is still burning out, and I'm sort of like 12 minutes in. So that would have really got that water to steaming hot. It was boiling, but you could have literally boiled your pan pretty much dry, I think. It's still actually going. I'm just tipped out the water. I'm letting the pan cool down, because quite simply I want it to be kind of fair. And I'm going to get that gel, fill one of those cubes with it, then tip the cube into that compartment. Obviously I've got to wait for these flames and everything to go and it all cool down. Right, I'm going to fill that cube with this gel stuff here. There. Come on, out you come. Might have to get my knife. Bit more. Is that it? Yep. I would imagine that's pretty much it. Right. Full cup of water. Right. The mess tin has got a very slight blackened bottom, nothing too bad. It shouldn't affect the actual burn time. So what we're going to do is put this gel in that compartment there, like that. Put it safely out the way. Get ready with a stop clock. Right, let's get this underway. There we go. Off we go. There. Right, let's see what the timer says. Right, we're just over a minute there, coming up for a minute and a half roughly. That's bubbling away there. You can just see the flame. Actually, it's a lot more aggressive than I thought. Doesn't seem to be the amount of white stuff. Whatever that white stuff is, it's more prevalent on the blocks, I think. It's bubbling like the other, like the waxy blocks did as well. In fact, I'd say it's bubbling slightly more. Right, I'm nearly 5 minutes in, not quite, nearly. That tray still have loads of bubbling liquid in it, and that flame is licking all the way around the bottom of that pan and coming up over the sides. I'm not sure. I think it's going to be even Stevens for the amount of time to boil these mess tins of water, but you know, we'll have to wait and see. Give it a fair go. Right, that's 7 minutes 32, and I can hear that boiling away there. You can just see the bubbles on the pan there and the steam. Can you see the bubbles just beginning to rise off the bottom of the pan there? Right, that's boiling. Still got a fair bit of burn left in that. Right, I'm not going to waste the water this time. I'm going to make a cup of coffee. That is still burning and going. Right, I've got my coffee and it's absolutely screaming hot. You can see the steam coming off it. The last remnants in there are still burning off. Let's see what time we got. Whoop. 11:09 and we're still burning. There's still substantial flame coming out of that. What's it? Let's get this up. Right. 13 minutes. And we still got a fair old flame there. Nowhere near like it was. But as you can see, it's burning and bubbling there. And it's still going. 14:40. And the last very little bit is beginning to burn away there. There is a very small bit of heat there, but it's pretty much all exhausted. There's just that small corner burning away. Right, I'm just burning up that last tab that I took the corner bits off to do the first experiment. But yeah, once this is all burned down, I'll have a little chat with you what I think. But I think it's pretty clear, or not clear, they're almost on par, but I've got a feeling that gel is a slightly better performer than the blocks, and it's only by 30-40 seconds, and yeah, which is nothing really. But yeah, I think whatever is in those blocks to make it more of a waxy, harder substance than that just slightly inhibits the burn compared to that more liquidy gel substance. That seems to burn just that little bit more intense, and it definitely takes a spark quicker. So then guys, I've got to wait for that to burn down. I'm going to finish my coffee. It's not too big a hardship. It's fantastic weather. I couldn't get a wild camp because last night I was doing what every self-employed person has to do at some point. You really hate it, but you have to submit your taxes to HMRC. So I spent an evening struggling with the calculator, trying to get all my figures correct and present and sent off to the government to see what they think about it all. But so that why is the reason I didn't get a wild camp. This is being done not just for entertainment to put out on YouTube. I wanted to see if there was a difference. I've already concluded what is going to be the best for me to take. The gel blocks are probably not going to be the best to transport in quantity over a distance. It will probably be the gel form, but I think you can get it in flexible plastic pouches, which will be what I'll investigate next. Not only that, I will have to do more experimentation in high wind and wet, rainy conditions. I want to be fully prepared to see if this is going to be the mechanism I take on the West Highland Way. It does look like it's got potential. It's not something I'm going to bin off straight away, and it does have good cook time. But I will test it in a multitude of other conditions first. So yeah, I'm going to finish this, and I will put some information at the end of this video on the actual times it took to actually bring that water to a boil. I thought it was a reasonably fair test. It wasn't the most scientific, but it did indicate which was going to perform slightly better. I'm not a scientist. I don't know what the makeup and constituents of each material is, but obviously they are completely different. One's more of a waxy hard block and one is a gel. Right then, I've got the cooker in gel here. As you can see, the cooker fits in the palm of my hand. I'm dropping the actual windshield, don't want to do that. Fits in the palm of my hand. It literally looks and feels, and it weighs nothing. It's embossed with BCB on it, which is the company, and it's quite a robust little cooker, way better than the hexamine stoves that you can get. This should last a fair little while, providing you don't sit on it, stand on it, or use it for something it's not intended to do. I've got to work out how many of the cubes, which is the measurement this tray holds, is in a litre in this bottle. I'm not going to try and work it out here and embarrass myself. I'm going to go home and use a calculator. And quite simply, I need to know I've got enough cook time in a bottle of this, or possibly a pouch of this, to get me through the trail. It says suitable for extreme conditions. I will be the judge of that, because like I've said, I'm going to take it out in windy and wet conditions just to try it. I don't want to get stuck miles from anywhere in the Highlands and I can't boil a brew or cook my food when you need it and you might want it the most. So testing all my kit before I get out in the field. I'm well impressed to start with, and it's, well, it says here that it's from Cardiff, the UK, so it's a British brand or a Welsh brand, and so far I'm well impressed, and it is definitely, they are definitely worth supporting if you're in the market for some sort of like cook set. I don't think at the moment you can go too far wrong if you're just doing what I'm planning on doing with something like this. But I've got further experimentation to do. So I'm going to head out of here now. I've done everything and I've achieved what I want to do. So yeah, take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys on the trail.